from Caitlin? No. She decided not to do that. In fact, she praised Aaliyah Boston. But she passed on the opportunity to say anything positive about Caitlin Clark. She could have squashed all kinds of things right here. It's a perfect opportunity. Did she do it? No. And you will never convince me.
You want to be surrounded and play with the best. To be the best, you got to play with the best, and you got to beat the best. So I'm just really thankful to be able to be here with the best. I mean, I'm not going to take this moment for granted. I'm so thankful because a lot of people don't have this moment. So I try to take a lot of things from other people, from communication to even just ball handling, like being around players like Chelsea, where she does the behind the backs and you have to be ready for it, and just being able to feel Ka's energy, being able to see Aaliyah post up and post deep, and being able to take those things and implement it within yourself. And I think it's just goes to show the growth of the game and how we can just compete in the W, but then come back here at USA and just be together and be here for one goal, and that's the championship and to win gold medal.
Go back and watch that moment again. Angel Reese takes her time recognizing Team USA teammates individually, calling out Chelsea Gray's ball handling and Aaliyah Boston's strength in the post. It feels intentional, detailed, and genuine. Yet one obvious name never comes up, and given the talent on that roster, the omission immediately raises eyebrows.
13 games. In those 13 games, there were literally like what? 3 or 4 kind of incidents and 2 major incidents, including the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark kerfluffle. Well, I hadn't used that word in a while. In which, of course, the major story coming out of that was Indiana Fever fans called Angel Reese racist something, which launched a massive investigation. Should be noted, Indiana Fever did not defend its fans there.
Here's the background you need to understand why this moment matters. During a Chicago Sky vs. Indiana Fever game on June 16, 2024, an incident sparked immediate controversy. Angel Reese and members of her team claimed that Fever fans directed racist chants toward her. The allegation was serious, and the league treated it that way. Indiana launched a full investigation, reviewing arena audio, game footage, and witness accounts. After everything was examined, the conclusion was clear: there was no evidence of racist behavior. Instead, investigators determined the sound came from a pre-recorded arena sound effect, a clip commonly used across multiple venues and often heard in sports settings. It wasn't targeted harassment or fan misconduct, just a misinterpretation. What makes this situation more compelling is what happened next. The very next day, Angel Reese had an opportunity to clarify the narrative and reset the conversation.
During that whole situation, I believe it was the next day or the day after, Angel Reese was interviewed after practice. She had an opportunity to squash the narrative right there. I never heard anything that I would construe as being racist from those Indiana Fever fans, blah, blah, blah. She did not do that. She played along with it. Let's be real. She went along with that narrative. In fact, she was like, yeah, I feel good about the fact that they're doing an investigation. All the while knowing nothing happened.
That interview took place roughly 48 hours after the alleged incident. By then, the investigation was already in motion, and Angel Reese was at a crossroads. She had the opportunity to clarify what she personally experienced, that she did not hear any racist chants herself, that there may have been a misunderstanding, and that Fever fans might not have been responsible. Instead, she chose a different approach. She publicly welcomed the investigation and framed it as necessary, effectively reinforcing the accusation despite no evidence being presented at the time. When the review ultimately concluded with 0 findings, there was no follow-up statement, no effort to correct, and no acknowledgement that fans had been labeled unfairly. The Indiana Fever organization also avoided directly addressing the fans, which sparked additional backlash. Still, Angel Reese had the platform and the chance to reset the story, and she chose not to use it.
Well, there was another opportunity. Of course, a lot of us believes Angel Reese doesn't care for Caitlin Clark too much. We've heard a lot of things. I did a video. We found out a while back that Angel Reese really didn't care for Caitlin Clark because anytime anybody brought up, the success of the league, Caitlin was always brought up, even if Angel was brought up. And that grinded her gears. Fry us a river. So, Angel Reese has come out and spoke about her time playing for USA Basketball.
Now we have to address the uncomfortable part of this discussion. Several reports from individuals familiar with the Chicago Sky environment suggest that Angel Reese may carry more than simple competitive tension toward Caitlin Clark. Not just rivalry, but lingering personal frustration. The reasoning, according to those close to the situation, is fairly consistent. When Angel delivers a standout performance or reaches a milestone, public attention often pivots back to Clark. Comparisons surface, headlines shift, and Caitlin's name re-enters the conversation. For some observers, that constant overlap appears to be a source of irritation. That context matters when revisiting the USA Basketball interview. This wasn't an off-the-cuff comment or a candid moment. It was an official USA Basketball media release. Angel knew it would be distributed widely. She understood the visibility, and she made intentional choices about which teammates to acknowledge by name.
Video, there were a couple of times they were absolutely on the court together. She had an opportunity to squash narratives out there, to try to do the bygones be bygones, let's all move forward, blah, blah, blah. And she didn't even have to say all that. She could have just said, oh man, being able to play with Caitlin, Paige, Chelsea. If you want to bring up Chelsea, that's fine. There's one point guard in the league, and it's not her.
Let's look closely at the makeup of that USA Basketball roster. Angel Reese shared the floor with some of the biggest names in the game, including Caitlin Clark, Paige Buchers, Chelsea Gray, and Aaliyah Boston. During the official USA Basketball interview, Angel specifically highlighted Chelsea Gray and Aaliyah Boston by name. She broke down Chelsea's elite ball handling, mentioning the need to stay alert for creative, behind-the-back passes. She also praised Aaliyah's footwork and effectiveness in the post. Those acknowledgments were fair and well-earned. However, Caitlin Clark is widely regarded as the premier point guard in women's basketball, known especially for her vision, passing accuracy, and ability to elevate teammates. As a forward who excels at rebounding and finishing around the rim, Angel's skill set naturally aligns with an elite playmaker like Clark. Yet when the opportunity arose to recognize that connection, even briefly, Caitlin's name never came up, and the silence was noticeable.
I mean, are we doing this again? Is that what we're doing? We're going to go through this yet again? I mean, I had to make a video yesterday because we got Sue Bird and Katie Nolan drudging up crap that was an issue in June of 2024. And here we are, about to be 2026. We're still doing this crap. We're still doing the hate thing. And I'm not hating on Angel Reese. I'm just saying she fumbled a huge opportunity here to squash a bunch of drama, a bunch of narratives, all this kind of thing. And she didn't do it. Just like she didn't seize the opportunity to jump out there and say, I never heard Indiana Fever fans making any kind of noises, and I don't believe they're racist. She passed on that opportunity too.
Consider the timing of this moment. We're moving closer to 2026, and the impact Caitlin Clark has had on the WNBA is no longer debatable. In just 13 games during the 2024 season, TV ratings surged whenever she took the floor. Arenas sold out. Attendance records fell. The league saw a level of attention and commercial growth it hadn't experienced before. Of course, that surge came with controversy, physical play, questionable officiating, and media narratives that divided fans. That's precisely why this moment mattered. The USA basketball interview offered a clean reset, a simple acknowledgement, a brief nod to the experience of playing alongside elite teammates, Caitlin included. That alone could have reframed the conversation and signaled unity when wearing the same jersey. Instead, the opportunity passed. And for anyone closely following the situation, it's difficult to believe that omission was accidental.
I've said this is 2026 is going to be the same things we've been seeing in 2024, in 13 games of 2025. I mean, so let's see. She would have played in another, let's just say roughly 35 games. What would we have seen? Another 5 or 6 or 7 fiascos go down? Because that was what we would have averaged enough where there would have been like 10 issues, 10 incidents if she'd have played all season. I'm talking about Caitlin. Unbelievable. And you know they really gonna get mad when she comes back and she's hitting threes in faces again. Tell me what you think.
Here's what this moment tells us about where the WNBA is heading in 2026 and beyond. The league just experienced the most visible and commercially successful season in its history, driven largely by the impact of one player on ratings, attendance, and national attention. Caitlin Clark appeared in just 13 games during the 2024 season before a wrist injury ended her year in September. Within that short span, there were roughly 4 separate controversies tied to physical play, officiating, media framing, or fan behavior. If you project that pace over a full 40-game season, you're looking at 10 to 12 headline-making incidents, none of them about basketball. That puts the league at a crossroads. Either players, commentators, and media voices choose to move forward and keep the focus on the game, or this cycle continues indefinitely. Every hard foul becomes a cultural flashpoint. Every interview turns into a chance to reopen old wounds. Every USA basketball appearance becomes an opportunity to send quiet messages through omission rather than words. In that sense, Angel Reese's interview wasn't just a moment, it was a signal of direction. When Caitlin Clark returns fully healthy and starts hitting logo threes again, the same tensions from 2024 are likely to resurface. The same voices will reemerge. The same narratives will be recycled. Nothing will have changed because no one chose to move on. The resentment is still there, just beneath the surface. This wasn't simply a missed chance for Angel Reese to show unity. It was a preview of the environment the league's biggest star is walking back into, one where certain players and media figures appear unwilling to acknowledge her impact or set aside personal feelings for the sake of growth. That's how you end up repeating the same controversies that defined those 13 games last season. The real question isn't whether Caitlin Clark should have been mentioned in that interview. It's whether anyone in the WNBA ecosystem is willing to prioritize the league's future over individual grudges. Right now, the evidence isn't encouraging. Commentators are still rehashing incidents from June. Players still avoid acknowledging teammates even on the same national roster. Fans remain divided into camps arguing narratives instead of celebrating the product on the floor. If this continues, 2026 will look a lot like 2024, more drama, more distractions, and more wasted opportunities to build something bigger than ego. Angel Reese's silence offered a glimpse of that future, and it wasn't reassuring. So here's the real question. When Caitlin Clark returns and the ratings spike again, when arenas sell out and attention follows, will the same patterns repeat? Or will someone finally step up and say it's time to move forward? Based on what we've seen so far, don't expect change. The pattern is established. The lines are drawn. And this interview made it clear exactly where certain people stand. Now tell me, do you think that omission was intentional, or am I reading too much into a 30-second clip? From where I'm sitting, the message couldn't have been clearer.